Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the R Anime Podcast. As always, I'm your host, Fate Steel Taylor. I guess I'm not always the host, but anyway, today I am the host. And last time you heard my beautiful golden voice, I was also the host. That's right. This is part 2 of the Makoto Shinkai Cinematic Universe episodes. We're actually only doing like one entry of the Makoto Shinkai Cinematic Universe, in which part this is part 2 of the Weathering with You series. Thanks again to GKIDS for sponsoring this episode. If in case you're watching this video without having seen this film, I don't know what you're doing, but you should go see it because GKIDS is proudly presenting this highly anticipated new film from Makoto Shinkai, which you already know about. It's amazing. It's awesome. It's got a lot of the same team from Your Name. So if you like that, definitely go check it out. Go to weatheringwithyoumovie.com to check out what screenings are still available in case you haven't seen it or you've seen it once and you want to go see it again, because there are definitely going to be some people who want to see that. So thanks again to our friends over at GKIDS for sponsoring this episode and for giving us the opportunity to talk about Weathering with You not once, but twice. And as always with things in life, whether it's with Usher or JoJo, you can skip part 1 to get to part 2. So
how dare you? No, please.
JoJo fans are attacked right now.
Are so attacked right
Stop it.
Triggering with you.
Triggering with you.
Wait, no, that was Premiere.
That was
Yeah.
Premiere Pod soon.
We're doing it. Oh yeah, we're doing Premiere.
Yo,
I hope
Premiere
so.
Pod was produced
I want
or
in.
distributed by our friends over at GKIDS. So who knows? Maybe.
I want in, please.
Maybe in the future. But in the now, we got to talk about our reactions to Weathering with You. So let's start off with the person who's most recently seen it. Maz. How you doing, my man?
Do you really
So-
want me to start with this?
Did we start with
Maz,
Maz?
dude, you're the most
You know
real
what? That's
one.
a good idea. How about we introduce everyone again? I'm Tate. That's Maz, who's thrilled to talk about Weathering with You. We've also got Shaw. How you doing, Shaw?
Great. How are you?
I have been better, and I've also been worse. And how are you doing?
Hey,
Bacon?
wait. Hang on. I know you're not going to say this, so I'm going to have to do it. Bacon, how's the weather with you?
Oh, so here in the Pacific North, we got a lot of rain. It's been raining for straight now. But then as I walked out of Costco, it was sunny, and then I had sushi. So it's been a great day.
It was
Dark
making it
out.
rain on you.
Dude, making it rain. I don't make it rain with dollars. I make it rain in credit. Credit's great. So
In credit? Like
in
credit cards?
Look, yes, that's the thing. See, I don't know, I was talking to my friend about this. It's like, you know what's people showing off their money on all those rap videos, that's not attractive to me. What's attractive is having good credit. And then that's
Your
adulting
credit
right
score
there.
with me. Thank you.
Yeah, dude. They need
Credit
to show
scoring
their
with
credit.
me. Maz, I just want to say that is maybe my favorite intro of the past decade. That was really good.
Thank you.
It was great. The noises you made in between what you said, the, like, wait, that was like how I thought we were glitching for a second, but I was very impressed.
Oh man, whoa, weathering with.
Our
Wah.
what 100
Okay, so let's start off with because we are sponsored. Let's say some awesome reactions to this movie. So I'm gonna say all the awesome things I have to say about that.
you're gonna
All right,
take
so
all mine,
Bacon, let's
go.
get you next. I'm done.
Okay.
So Bacon, what were your
So-
thoughts on Weathering with You?
So, for a Makoto Shinkai film, it's what I expected, first of all, in terms of visuals, music. I mean, right when they said Radwimps is doing it again, I'm like, we're going to get a great soundtrack. Check that off. And is there going to be things beautifully animated? Check that off. Cool. So, those things I love the most about it, just because there's that one shot that made me go, whoa. It was the when they're atop the building for the first time, and it does that 360, or like the 180 when it shows them all the way from the city. Love that. Everything else about it, that's cool. But we'll get into the other parts of what I didn't like. But for standards of a Makoto Shinkai film, especially riding off the success of Your Name, it's what you'd expect, and that's what makes me happy. So we're good on that end. So far, that's what I liked about it.
Shaw?
Yeah, so I actually really liked this film, which was probably a surprise to you guys after my Your Name memes. But yeah, I think it was actually a really fun movie because I really enjoyed the actual like concept of the film, where it's raining nonstop and the main character ends up finding I guess, what did they call her? Like a rain girl or sunshine girl?
100% sunshine girl.
100% sunshine girl.
No, she's just a sunshine girl. The urban
Aw.
legend is 100% sunshine girl.
Yes.
Aw.
Yeah, Bacon.
Get it? Get your freaking Weathering with You war correct.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Sorry, I'm
next
not
time
the
we're gonna
biggest
call
fan
her-
of this film.
Next time we're gonna call her a Love Live Sunshine Girl.
Ooh,
I wouldn't mind watching
that sounds fun. That sounds nice, actually.
Yeah, I'd
Yeah.
watch that. Yeah.
Yeah, but I liked the supernatural elements and how they both kind of worked together, and we got to see, them go around town and try and
Walking fast.
walking fast, faces pass, faces pass, and I'm homebound. And they got to go, make the day of everyday people. So I really liked how we got to see the main characters grow together and really got to experience their relationship. So I appreciated the development for that. And, I enjoyed how the plot kind of unfolded because naturally, as we've learned from many other series, when you kind of abuse supernatural powers, it does not go well. And we got to see, the negative side effects of that and how they kind of struggled to, remedy their situation. And I thought it was pretty heartfelt. Looked great, sounded great. I really just enjoyed the film. I did have a few gripes with it, but it was kind of interesting because I thought I would essentially expect all the same things from Your Name again, but some of the errors I thought that Your Name was lacking, I thought they improved upon. But then also in kind of the opposite way, some of the areas that Your Name excelled in, I think it was kind of lacking in, which we can get into more in a bit later, but the things it excelled on meant a lot more to me, so it was a really fun experience.
Yeah, for sure. For
Yeah.
sure, Shaw. Definitely with you.
With
Definitely
you.
weathering with you
Yes.
on that. Or am I?
We'll find out. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Stay tuned. Don't change that dial. So Maz, you actually saw that just today. Thank you again to GKIDS for generously providing us with screeners of this film.
Facts.
So Maz, while it's still fresh on your mind,
Mhm.
what are your positive thoughts on Weathering with You?
This could be short.
You got me. Okay. Weathering with You is a fun movie. I did genuinely enjoy it. I recommend it. It looks pretty nice, although, well, maybe I'll hold off on it. It looks nice, and I like the weather aspect of it because I kind of grew up on just enjoying, or funny enough, when I was a kid, I wanted to be a meteorologist, and I loved watching the weather, and I kind of grew up with some weather disaster films like The Day After Tomorrow. Now, this isn't on that same level, but it does kind of have
I mean,
that
so
same
few
feeling
movies are
sometimes.
on the level Day After Tomorrow.
Yeah, facts. But yeah, I enjoy weather basically, and this had some cool moments with that.
Yeah, for me, while I was watching it, I will say there were moments where I really enjoyed it, where I had a lot of fun with it. Like the very opening, like Shinkai, I feel like does really well with like scenes with no diet. Like he does well with time lapse scenes almost.
I really love his montages.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was also a thing in Your Name too, where one of my favorite moments is when they both Taki and Mitsuha both realize that they're switching bodies, and it shows them going through their daily lives and going out and taking pictures, and they're teasing each other hey, stop buying all this stuff, stop eating so much, learn stop touching my boobs, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it has that, and then for me, I really liked both of the montages that were in this film, which were the first one where it's the main character Hodoka, who meets Keisuke, the guy who's in charge of the magazine company,
Mm-hmm.
him, and the older girl who I don't know. I literally have just thought of her as Skahak because she looks exactly like Skahak from
Hang on.
Fake Grand Order.
Tay, I really want to ask you, Tay, do you agree that Hina looks like Tamako?
Yeet! Like a weird Shinkai version.
How are you guys making these noises? You guys sound like record scratches.
They practiced this because they knew they were going to talk about
soundboard.
Yes.
That was really good. Oh my god.
How did you do that?
I thought you were actually.
I've lived many lives before, but
You're a boxer. You're a
beatboxer.
rapper, boxer. Oh my, dude, you're not even a real person.
Yeah, you can't
Beatboxing with you.
Boxing with you. Beatboxing with you now. We've evolved. It's
Anyway, sorry to totally derail that.
no, like I kind of did think she kind of looked like Tamako, especially there's that one because Tamako does have like a similar hoodie as well. But she obviously doesn't have like the mochi. I don't know how would you call them, like hair ornaments, hairpins. I don't know what the technical
just
term
hair
is.
accessories.
Hair ties?
Hair ties. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, she did kind of remind me of Tamako, but the older girl definitely reminded me of Skahak, and I was like, yo, this girl's fire for sure.
She reminds me of the main girl in Penguin Highway.
Oh, but yeah.
I was just like, yo, they just got that character. They just threw her in here. She's literally that person.
I mean, I feel like at this point in time, with so much anime out there, it's gonna be really hard to make an original character design. And some characters,
especially
It was more of the mannerism.
Yeah, I didn't think she looked like her, but but she did have this very similar thing where it's like, haha, you looked.
Haha, I have boobs. You looked at my boobs. I'm clever.
Got
Jokes
him.
on you. I wanted you to.
I mean, yeah, big titty onesans have not exactly been
Revolutionized.
Yeah, they're not in short supply.
Can also,
Yes.
Oh,
can also-
I'm very grateful for that. You know that.
Bacon, please.
Can I also say that probably my favorite moment of the whole movie was when I got totally debated and they like had this one shot of that girl for like 5 seconds where it's just kind of sitting there and you can see her cleavage and she's like, "You looked," and I'm like, "Ah, got me."
I mean, come on, it's the biggest. Like, what else are we supposed to look at?
It's just like they left it at that shot for so long that it's like they knew. They knew.
Truly immersive experience.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Really makes you feel like you're staring at her chest and getting hot.
I guess you could say this movie has something for everyone.
Why didn't we actually say that in the first episode? There's something for everyone.
Darn it, you're right.
Oh man, but yeah, like I thought she was fun. Like they had a really great dynamic. I really liked like seeing her trying to get a job, and like that whole spiel. I thought was really
You're my
cute.
first
Yeah.
choice. You're my first choice.
That's so accurate. That's so accurate.
Oh my gosh, it was kind of painful, but also really funny.
Yeah. I think that's a good way of like shouting out. Like I think the side characters were really good. Like I feel like this is one of the few times I really like distinctly remember the side characters in a Makoto Shinkai film, and I feel like they had just as much of a presence as like the main characters, you know. It felt like not an ensemble cast, but they all got their time to shine.
I mean, I'm all about that dude.
As we go through this life, don't
A gangster, but on the opposite end, he's a detective, and I was like, "Oh, dude, my bad, man."
I thought at first you were gonna say because you cut out. I thought you were gonna talk about the younger brother being a huge player and how they called him senpai the whole time.
Oh,
Yeah.
that too, dude. Okay, so that was random, but like I felt like that could have been left out. There are a lot of parts in this movie that I feel like that could have been left out.
There was a
They were
lot
able
that
to-
could have been left on the cutting room floor for sure. It felt like there were too many directions he wanted to go in with this. Because like while I really like the montage with the older dude and his niece, the older girl, the college girl, as they were interviewing, I felt like they got largely kicked to the side as soon as he met Hina. Like he just
Yeah.
like completely like disregarded their existence, and they were like, "Hey, where did this kid go?" And they're like, "We haven't seen him since like the Sunshine Girl started." And they're like, "Oh, okay. So what are we doing now?" He's like, "I don't know. How about we just become exposition bots?" And they're like, "Let's do that." So then they talk to the old lady who tells them the exposition about the
I think it kind of makes sense because he was blowing them off in the story, so naturally we wouldn't see them as much because he was
Right.
like going around and like doing his thing with Hina. And
exactly.
I think it made sense in the context of the series.
Right, it made sense, but I didn't necessarily agree with it because I felt like it started to flesh him out. And I will say that, like, outside of the surfer girl from 5 centimeters per second in the second vignette, I don't think Shinkai's strength is really with his side characters. Although I think the friends, like Mitsuha's friends in Your Name, I thought were pretty fun and cute.
Yeah, but we didn't really like get that much on them. Like they were never really supposed to be any kind of focus. Whereas with this, they definitely tried to pay more attention to like the guy who hired him, his niece, the younger brother. You know, they definitely tried to give them more of like story, like their own personalities and things going on with them.
Right.
And I think there you could kind of say that like they might not have been completely necessary for the main plot that we had going on, but I at least appreciated them as like other people for the main characters to bounce off of.
As vehicles to move the plot along.
Yeah. I don't know if they were really like that. Well, they weren't really involved in the plot as much as like the main two.
There were points where I felt like they were just bringing them back just to remind you that they were there. So one of the scenes that I thought that could have been cut out, if we're gonna go into that now, if that's okay, was the part where a main character, I don't remember their names obviously, and the thing is like he easily breaks out a police station. I'm like, okay, cool.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden you just happen to see that one woman just with the moped. And I'm like, I'll do FLCL hype right here. And it just jumps right on and it turns into a car chase.
Initial D up in here.
Yeah, and I was like, this is cool. I feel like they're flexing the motion animation kind of well. I'm like, okay, that's pretty cool. But you didn't really need that because all she does is crash into a river, sits there and says, you go on ahead. Like you could just.
And then she gets arrested. It's like
yeah. I did like him running on the train tracks because that's when they like played the music and that was like the emotional thing, thinking back to everything. Like I like that, but I do agree.
I feel like the music could have been somewhere else because I personally didn't like that. It was really just like, it just sucks that this building's far away.
It felt like a random music video inside a movie.
Yeah, but I think they've done that and like they've done that in other Shinkai films. That's like a thing.
Have they?
Yeah, he's done a bunch of things where they're like, here's the emotional moment, here's the music, they're like running towards each other. They did that in Your Name.
They did do that in Your Name, but that was between.
Like, yeah, it starts off with like him looking at his hand. Well, no, Your Name spoilers, really, but like I feel like there's a very different vibe between when the music's going on in Your Name because there's like a lot of moving parts, like both parties are like doing things to make sure things can get done. Whereas here he's like just running on the train tracks and people are like,
but you could say
they're like Forrest Gumping him.
Yeah, but you could say there are multiple moving parts. Like they both play into the like big emotional buildup of like them trying to fix the problem. So they have like a song. Like it's the same type of thing. You just feel like it's more, you know, the action might feel a bit more justified in Your Name because it was like tighter and less over the top. But I think in this one, it's still pretty justified to have the big emotional moment where he's running back to the building and like they have the big music playing.
It felt justified, and I thought it was done well when they were falling through the sky.
Oh yes,
that song was played.
That was
I would actually I would correlate that more with what happened in Your Name than the running on the train track scene. The train track scene I feel like doesn't play as well. I feel like the falling, but I'm also a sucker for people falling through the sky.
Yeah, that was
like,
good. That was definitely the best part of it. Can we?
Yeah, agree? It like rarely happens, but like ever since I saw it, like I forget what anime I saw it as a kid. It was on Toonami. Maybe I don't remember, but I just love the idea of two people like running out of a thing and like falling down. It might have been.
I'm sorry.
Castle.
I'm sorry. What you said?
Castle in the Sky.
Castle in the Sky, maybe.
I think of it with like Kingdom Hearts, where they're like just randomly in the sky.
Sorry,
sometimes in the ocean. You know, you never know.
The first thing I thought about was Konosuba. Aqua.
Oh, that makes sense.
I'm just wailing to the air. I'm sorry. Yeah. It's so good. I'm sorry to.
No. Like I love when they like hold hands and like fall through the sky and they're crying and they're very happy. Like I was like,
and the song drops and I was like, yes, I'm a sucker for choirs and lots of people singing together. I'm such a big sucker for that.
Yeah, like it was like total pandering to like me because I love that trope. I actually know that it happens in Eureka 7.
Oh yeah, I gotta see that.
So I have to see it. I haven't seen it, but the only reason I want to watch Eureka 7 is because I know that thing happened in 7.
I will recommend watching the Kingdom Hearts opening so you can see more falling from the sky.
Yes.
No, just watch Donkey's reaction to the Kingdom Hearts opening.
Yes, Donkey, my guy. Oh, so one thing I want to mention that's like random thing. Here's random things I love since we're going with that now. Since Tay likes people jumping through the sky, I, as a former football coach, like seeing perfect form tackles. Dude, the ball tackling in
they
this
followed through.
Dude,
Perfect wrap up. Yo, straight shoulder right into the chest area, take him down.
Exactly.
Drive through the knees.
Dude, it's all perfect, like leverage, and they all stand up when they get there. And
get your head out of the way. Perfect.
Yeah, the only thing they needed was just keep your eyes up, so then you don't. Yeah, like, eyes up. But everything else, like even the little kid, the kid that when he like snuck out of the.
Yo, they Mission Impossible that was so funny with with one of his girlfriends coming.
That was so
my gosh,
dirty. I was like, really?
That was hysterical. Oh my gosh.
She's like, I can't believe you would ask your ex to help break you out of jail.
They're like 10. Like, oh my god.
Like, is this what 10-year-olds do in Japan? Like, God,
yo, Zoomer culture now.
Yeah, right.
God.
They're on this. Yeah, I guess we can allow Moz to speak now that we're criticizing the film. I'm curious to see what Moz has to say.
So
perfect tackling isn't criticism. I was like, tackle.
No.
Well, I was thinking, or I was going to like jump in at some point, like. Because you were talking about the running on the tracks and all that. Like, I can understand that it's justified in some way, but it just goes so far. It just goes so over the top, and there are so many things happening that once it got to the point where the guy Honoka when
forgettable. No one remembers.
I have a comment about this. I'm gonna forget it. So remember how at the beginning of the film he was reading Catcher in the Rye?
No.
Yes.
Yeah, this was important. You guys missed this because I knew as soon as they showed Catcher in the Rye, I'm like, okay, they're gonna try and make this dude Holden Caulfield. Like immediately. That's why I'm like, okay, that's this guy's characterization. He's Holden Caulfield. Like Shinkai's Holden Caulfield. That's what this guy is. And I'm not saying he's like as good as Holden Caulfield. Obviously not. You know, love Holden Caulfield. But as soon as they said that, I'm like, okay, that's what they're gonna try and go for with this guy. And Hodaka's. Well, yeah, but that's what they're going for. I won't say it. But he like Hodaka now sounds like Holden in a way. Every time Fate says that, I'm like, Hodaka Caulfield. That's it.
Oh yeah, Holden Caulfield. Yeah.
Oh no.
Makes sense now.
It also makes sense because like he is the son, so Hina.
Ooh.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I actually did know that because Hina Matsuri.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but sorry for interrupting. I just wanted to say
that was a good point. That was a good point.
My woke comparison.
Then anyway, the moment the movie just like broke for me was when Hodaka held up a gun to the guy.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, okay, how did I get here? What is happening?
Yeah.
This is not what I expected.
That whole subplot was very not necessary.
That
was not it.
The thing about this, the worst thing is that the justification for him running from the police is because he ran away from home, and there's this big thing about how he can't return home. So I'm like, okay, why can't he return home? What's going on? They never explain that.
Never.
They never. They're just like,
both
and then
kids.
He's like, so what happened at home? He's like, I felt like I was suffocating there. I was like, oh shit, was he getting
literally? Like, is someone...
It's like, what was going on? And then they're like, oh, after... Also, can we just talk about the fact that, like, they presumably, after this whole debacle, right? After all the tackling, after all the gunshots, you would assume the police went up to the roof to try and follow him, right? Yeah. And presumably, they went up there and saw nobody there. They went all the way down, started putting people in the police cars. There was lightning, and they were like, huh, let's go up. And where there were no kids, there were suddenly two, including the girl who was missing. And they're like, yeah, let's just put this kid on trial.
Yeah. This is like...
I assumed that none of the policemen were able to go up there because it was like broken down.
Then how did they get there to pick him up?
Oh yeah, that's right. Crap.
We need another running scene. We need another running scene to help us.
Like if you assume that they couldn't have gotten up there because the stairs broke down, how did they get up there to pick them up so soon afterwards?
Oh no!
My gosh, you're right.
We need another chase scene.
That entire scene,
another
like,
Radwimp song.
That whole standoff with the gun as well.
That was very unnecessary.
Yeah,
So
very unnecessary. Like, dude, you need
dramatic.
to relax, man.
I think Yeah, I don't like the whole subplot with like the gun and then like them being like also okay. This is what I pointed out too when I was talking to Fate about this. I was like, yo, so the whole city is like flooding, and these guys are concerned about a kid who ran away from home more than anything else going on. Like,
Yes,
the city is
agreed.
falling apart, everything's flooding. They're not evacuating people. They're like, that one kid, we need to focus all our time on him. He's the
We need to
problem.
chase them throughout the entirety of Tokyo. From where they were to where they ended up is a huge distance.
Yeah,
As you
And
can
that's
tell
the
from
thing.
his running scene.
And I was really surprised too at like the detective when they were chasing that one mobster, and the guy's like, dude, I didn't know she was. We're not
Yeah,
here
oh my
for
God, I
that.
hated
We're
that
not
line.
here for this. It's like,
I
wait,
hated that line.
I was
yeah.
like,
You wouldn't you be more concerned with that than like the kid who ran away from home?
Yeah, and then they're
You
like,
know-
no, you're fine, man. I'm
you're
just-
fine. No, we're gonna
thinking
come back
about
for
it-
you later. Like,
Thinking about it, all they would have had to say was something like his dad was like a politician or like a really prominent figure, which is why the police were like so on him.
Right, like,
Just
yeah.
some small thing. Like if
Like
they
the-
said that, we could have been like totally fine with why he felt so oppressed and like
Uh-huh.
you know we could have put the two and
Because
two
we
together.
saw that with Your Name, too.
yeah, we saw it with
yeah.
because we saw that her
Mitsuha.
dad was a we saw that with them. So like we just needed a bit more. But I mean, I would have been cool if they like just completely cut the whole like detectives chasing them subplot.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
you know, okay, go on, Maz. I have a really dumb thing that'll go off track.
Well, I'm kind of going to branch this out to a bigger thing, so maybe if you want to say it before I like change the subject, well, not necessarily change the subject, but
So you know what okay, thank you. So you know what I thought, what the big plot was gonna be for the whole thing when that policeman started like showing up.
Mhm.
I thought he was a mobster, right? So I thought the whole plot of the story.
Oh,
was
because he's
gonna-
got the hair like the mobster.
yeah, he's pretty like metal bat in here. Yeah, they were trying to chase down that other mobster, and so here was my theory when I was watching the movie. I thought to myself, the reason why Hina was with that first mobster at the beginning when Hodoka came in and like shot a random bullet in the air. I thought she was being taken in by the mob, not to become what you think she was going to be, because the mob knew she was a Sunshine Girl and they were going to extort her and use her to make lots of money doing Sunshine stuff. So I thought these mobsters were going to come into this kid saying, "Hey kid, you're effing with our product right now, man." So that's
No,
what we're
no,
gonna
that movie
kill
would have been
you."
too good, Bacon. Like, there was no.
Dude,
That does not sound like a Shinkai film.
I know,
Yeah.
but that would have been so funny. Just like
That would be
like,
fun.
Like I
Yo,
was
that'd
just
been like gritty and dark, but also like
exactly.
the- so one of my biggest regrets is that a couple years ago, I read an article with an interview with Shinkai, and Shinkai said ever since the 2011 earthquake, he felt like he couldn't do bittersweet endings anymore. He felt like he couldn't do like sad endings anymore. He could only do like happily ever after endings.
Which is not on brand for
although
him.
Garden of Words wasn't really a happy ever after.
Same with 5 centimeters, but
No,
well,
5
well,
centimeters was
five
before
cent-
the
yeah.
earthquake.
Yeah.
And Garden of
Oh,
Words
yeah,
might have
you're
been
right,
in
you're right.
production like around then, but like it had a happier like
Maybe he wrote Garden of Words before that. I don't know.
right,
Yeah.
right. Or,
Yeah.
and maybe it was like around the time of Garden after like he finished
It
Garden
also-
of Words. He was like, I can only do happy endings now because I thought Your Name was gonna have like a 5 centimeters per second ending. Like for
That would
sure
be-
on the stairs,
Oh,
I
man.
100% thought they were gonna do a 5
Yeah,
centimeters per
I
second.
don't
ending.
think I feel like he's honestly gotten too big to do that kind of ending. Like I feel
Mhm.
like after Your
like
Name,
how Disney can't do that anymore.
yeah, no one can do like. Well, he got so big for like Your Name, and that has such a happy ending. He can't like go back and do like the artsy ending.
But
Like
at
I
some
would be
point
cool
he
with that.
has to. Look,
He
he's
doesn't have to do anything. He's making so much money. Look at all the sponsorships. that he
Because
has.
honestly,
You're
I think
right,
based
you're
on
right.
the end, I mean, if you look at which of his films are the most successful, I think people want the happy Your Name ending more than they want a bittersweet ending, even if it's
more
more
than they
fitting,
want Garden of Words or 5 centimeters per second.
even if it's more fitting for the situation.
Mm-hmm. And like this was huge amongst the
Ah.
casual crowd too. Like it was the #1 grossing anime film or #1 film actually in Japan last year in 2019. Like it grossed the most in box office. It still isn't close to Your Name. It's like
Yeah.
still
But
way
it was
below
still
Your
a
Name.
success
yeah,
in its
but
own
is
right.
that because of the name?
I mean, it's the
Name
thing, right?
attached to
Like
it, or-
Disney like still makes like he's become like an institution almost more than like a
A
director.
cinematic universe.
Makoto, yo, also can we talk about like the Mitsuha Taki cameo?
That was
Because
so fun. That was great.
I actually thought it was I thought they went on too long. The Taki one. I
Oh
felt was-
yeah,
I
Dude,
thought this was like this. This
Sorry,
was
go
such
on.
blatant pandering. Like,
Yeah.
But
This
it was,
doesn't need to
it
be
was
this
more
long.
funny
I
to
like
me.
seeing them though.
But I genuinely loved the Mitsuha one because all you really had was the ribbon in her hair, and I'm like, oh, you cheeky boys.
Nice.
no,
yeah,
her
that was
name
super
tag as
sweet.
well.
Yeah, she did that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
She had her name. Oh my god.
LOL.
Wait,
No,
they
so-
can crack the code.
Oh my gosh. So the one thing I also love about that the your name thing before we go on is when Taki first walked in, it was like a shonen protagonist. Like
No,
the
he
shadow,
completely upstaged Horuka. Like, I was like, I don't care who this guy
Yeah.
is.
dude, the shadow leaving him. It was almost as if you might be wondering why I called you here today because I've been through something as well as this
It's
phenomenon.
like, and this time, it's personal.
Yeah, that's what I was waiting for. But yeah, go on, Maz. Like,
Well, I wanted to go back to the sort of conflicts of the movie, and the thing is, I kind of feel like Shinkai was trying to be kind of woke with this movie.
Oh, he came off as a climate denier, though.
Well,
It would
okay,
message
we can
on,
get
like,
to that in a
climate
bit, but
change.
like so the movie essentially ends with Tokyo going underwater, and all that. But also, we were talking about how like the police were they were so focused on these two kids instead of the larger conflict at hand. I feel like that could have like play into it, like where I don't know, you just get lots of conflicts in the real world where we focus a lot on really small things and not the bigger problem at hand, question mark. Because like you can also say, because here's the thing, they investigated the one guy, the first guy that Honoka whatever pointed his gun at. Yeah, they investigated that guy, and all they did was just like, hey, we just need you to give us, like, do you know who this kid is? This guy was like a child trafficker or something.
Yeah.
Like he literally says, like, bro, I swear she was of age. Like, we don't care, dude. Whatever. Just tell us who this kid is.
that was such a
like I don't know. Like, I kind of feel like maybe Shinkai was trying to make some commentary, but
I think it was more out. I
here's the
think
thing.
he was just trying to be over dramatic. I don't think he had a message
That's a
about.
stretch.
I don't know. Okay, I guess
yeah.
maybe. I'm just saying that if it was, I'm just saying that if
he's
he
been more
was,
about, like-
then to what end?
Yeah, I'd say he's more like environmental than he is like specific like police issues. I think that's more on brand for him at least.
I feel so offended that people would call him the next Miyazaki, because Miyazaki
Same.
through Princess Mononoke and Nausicaa
Oh, yeah.
was always like, yo, like, we are fucking up the earth. Like,
But
we are
the
fucking
cool thing
this
is with-
thing up.
And the cool thing is with Princess Mononoke is it's like, he shows the gray morality to how, the best society there is the one that's hurting the environment the most. He shows like all aspects to this. Whereas this is like, I appreciate him like trying to take on a bigger message. Like, I appreciate how ambitious this project was. But like the last part, I was like, I have different issues kind of with them, because I overall like really liked the film, but I think the parts where he was reaching were just like kind of not it. Where like the whole cop chase scene, that's another issue. But like, as you kind of were saying with the resolution, like, I think he's trying to say something about climate change, but I'm not really sure if he even knows what message he's trying to leave us with. Like,
like pray
I
for
think what
better
he was-
days kind of deal.
I think he was trying to say we'll solve the problem together instead of blame, like having one person shoulder the issue. But like, and how like people kind of moved on. But like he was saying it like really convoluted because Tokyo was ruined and they were flooded completely. But they're like, yeah, but we're just kind of like trucking along and we'll survive. But like it still kind of sucks. Like no one's happy there. No one's happy with that
I could
outcome.
agree.
And like,
I
it
could
even
agree
showed the
with
grandma. The grandma like lost her home
But
completely.
she's cool. But she's, we just move apart. That's it.
She's fine. It's like, yeah, they were like, oh, they say it's only as bad as recorded history, but how long's recorded history?
It was a very weird, what's the rebuttal to like, yeah, this sucks. Yeah, but we don't know how much it sucked before recorded history. Like, that's not really convincing. That's not.
And also, like, we have evidence that this is the worst movie.
Yeah.
I mean, I can agree with you and Shaw on that, Maz. Like, it's but then again, if that were true, I wish it would have been done better.
Mm-hmm.
If you would focus on the whole like, yeah, this really big thing's happening right now, but we're only focusing on these two kids. Then again, I don't know. Like that's a good way to.
Yeah, it just didn't feel like
problems going on,
and
it's almost like as if
enough to handle that correctly.
Yeah, and it's because you want. Yeah, go ahead.
I thought it was something on like on people's selfishness, because once they found out, I thought once they found out, oh, sunshine, this girl's for real with the sunshine kind of thing. Now we all want sunshine kind of deal, but because I was linking this.
Hey kid, you want some sunshine?
He's gonna go do that sunshine thing. It's so sketchy.
Please, Aqua Sunshine, Love Live Sunshine. I was kind of connecting it in a weird way to a One Piece arc.
Oh no! Okay, we gotta get back on track.
I'm sorry,
the train's running before One Piece.
No. Just hear me out. So in One Piece, there's a part where there's this little powder called boogie powder or dance powder, whichever you want to call it. And if you throw it in the air, alabaster. If you throw it in the air, it rains on your town, and they needed water. The thing that happens is it sucks all the nutrients out of the air from the clouds, which means the next town over doesn't get rain at all.
So
everyone starts.
I thought they were gonna play into that too.
Yeah, it's kind of like, oh, we're all after this girl because we need sunshine for our selfish needs, and then freaking God says, you know what? You're taking these gifts of sunshine for granted, and so I'm just gonna take everything away from you unless you.
But they were already making it. See, the thing I don't get is he was already like, it was already raining all the time before she even started this business.
Yeah,
raining always, and like we don't know how many times she made it like sunny. Probably it wasn't as often as she was making it sunny when she was doing it for work, because she said, I don't even know if I can do this consistently.
Right. Because she only did it when she really wanted to, which was
like when her mom was dying in the hospital.
Right.
Like I like that montage too of them like going around. Like the two montages I really like.
Super cute.
Yeah, it was
very cute.
When the little brother's dressed up.
Oh yeah, when they're both dressed up, that's so cute. When he has the umbrella and the brothers.
Market, I really liked it.
Yeah,
but,
I think.
What I really didn't like is the fact that I thought they were setting it up to like, because even the older dude Keisuke was like, yo, like, you know, everyone in the city would sacrifice one girl so we could get sunshine again. Like we would do it no hesitation. Like we have to do it. And I was like, oh shit, Shinkai's actually gonna pull the trigger on that.
I know. I wish he did.
And then they do, and then they're like, actually, how about you just over, or sorry GKIDS, screw over, like
ame over.
Screw over like 20 million people living in Tokyo and just like flood everyone's possessions and homes and everything forever.
Yeah, and that's the thing. No one knew.
Yeah.
And also, she also almost killed someone by striking down lightning on a truck.
That was dope, honestly.
Yo, I was like, yo, this girl legit tried to kill a
to be fair, I don't think she like had the I don't think she knew that would happen necessarily.
But
she wanted it to happen.
I thought it was kind of playing off the fact
she willed it into being.
You know what? Those cops sucked. They didn't need to be in this movie. Like,
wait, you're actually right. She was actually trying to save from the.
She was trying to save the movie. That's what
Ame, the police.
That's what I was saying. Yeah, I think ultimately, I think it's tough because I feel like he was trying to tell, you know, coming of age rom-dram amongst these two characters, but then also trying to do this like environmental aspect. And I think he did a good job with the emotional aspect between the two mains, but the environmental stuff was just like not handled well, and he needed to pay more attention to that. And I appreciate him trying to do more and trying to like, you know, tell a bigger story, but I think it required a lot more attention and a lot less police.
Yo, it needed no police. The police didn't need to be in this movie.
Yeah, like there's no need for the police.
Okay, question for you guys.
Yeah.
So, what was the name of that? Not the detective. What was the name of the editor that took in Keisuke? So, I thought this was a cool thing for the whole movie. Was Keisuke's wife another Sunshine Girl?
No, they were implying that, weren't they?
No, they weren't.
No.
Oh, she died in an accident.
She died in an accident.
Yeah, but when it was raining. But my theory is that that's not true at all.
No, there's no way.
I think they were implying something like that.
No,
because the guy was. They were talking
totally
about
been more about this. He would have been like, "Oh yeah, that makes sense."
No, but that's probably why he sees something in Hodoka, because he doesn't want him to fall for that whole thing that happened to him kind of
No,
deal.
I don't think that I do not subscribe to at all. I think
Oh
there's
come on! I could have sworn because
I
he
like
was
it.
crying
he was
and all
following
that
this
stuff.
weathering girl thing was because he was like trying to find like urban legends to sell to magazines. It's not like something.
So he could see
Not
his
a
daughter
person.
more
Yeah,
because his daughter is
also,
asthma.
how did
That
he not
too.
have custody of his child? Why did it go to his?
Because he
Because he was an alcoholic and stuff, and he was out of work. Like he was they
He's
went
not
they did
stable. He's not
yeah
stable.
they went over how it was like he lost custody because he was like not okay and like he was smoking and like the grandma won custody. So I think it makes sense, but
Right, but like that's a really high bar to clear legally.
but
to, like,
that
give it
makes
to the-
sense. That
Japan
makes
always has a
sense.
high bar. Come on.
That's like that's nitpicking on this. Like we know
No,
that. Like,
I really wanted them to talk a little bit more because they talk about it too. Because he's like, oh, like I can't risk helping you because I want to like get my girl back, like
Yeah, 'cause if he has,
get
like, a-
custody of her. And then he's like, nah, fuck that. I'm just gonna like. I mean,
yeah,
I'm
he
like,
followed his heart. He followed his heart to
Hey,
help out
stop
the kid.
saying bad words.
I'm
You're the one
I'm
who
just
told
gonna
us we
really.
can't say bad words.
I
Oh
know.
my
You took
God.
away our
I'm-
bad
I'm-
words, and now
I'm-
you
I'm-
hit us with the bad words.
I know.
I know he has
Bad
all
word, bad wording with you.
Oh no, I'm gonna stand by that theory.
But can I?
I like
just
that
wanna-
theory.
I no okay. But one thing I do want to say is, with the gosh, why can't I? With what I really did not like is that. So the fact that like at the very end they basically imply she's like using her powers again. Like the whole reason they like sacrificed the entirety of Tokyo was to bring her back and never use that rain like sunshine girl powers again. Then he sees her on the road and she's praying and the clouds part, sunshine comes back through, and everyone's happy. And it's like, yo, you legit just did everything to make sure she wouldn't have to disappear again, and now you're just gonna redo all this stuff, like all the sacrifices you put everyone through, you made like ruin the lives of millions of people.
But it was the
millions of
last
people.
part of the movie. Maybe just this once, one more time.
Wasn't she going to like? Wasn't she going to do it and then she stopped when she saw him? So it was like,
I don't. But
yeah, because they weren't going to say she was going to do it again. She saw him and then she didn't do it.
No, but the sun's parted. She like was praying. She had her head down.
I think I don't think she was doing it.
Maybe-
I think they
maybe
were
that
trying to
happened.
symbolize. They were trying to symbolize that like you don't know like what will happen with the weather, so like you need to work together in order to try and like do
Why
what
would
you
they
can.
work together? He was away on the island in a.
Well, he was
home
he
that
was coming to see
suffocating.
her though. Like that was him like reminiscing with her and like coming back and reuniting.
Maybe she
Right, but
wasn't
that's not
using her
working together,
powers.
that's
She
just
was
him
just-
But
pining
they
for
will
her.
be They will be working together. Like that's the
But they
thing is
got
they
the
were saying.
results without even having to work together.
Well, they saw each other and then the sun came out. Like they made the sun
So
happen.
seeing
She
each
didn't
other is
need to
not
pray.
working together.
Yeah, they can work together to try and make the future better. That was like their implication, not that she was actually doing it again.
Yeah, we because that's the thing. They never said that she was stripped of her power when she came back down.
No,
It's
of
just
course
that-
not. But like, also, she
don't think-
shouldn't be doing that because the whole reason.
But I
Well,
don't
she
think she
doesn't
was doing that. I don't think they were implying that she was just going to do it again.
Wouldn't her body start to disappear again?
Well,
Yeah.
when she first started to disappear again before then too, it was like aspects of her below her clothes, so like we wouldn't have necessarily seen whether
Yeah,
or not.
but I
her
don't think
body
she
had
was
started
doing it
disappearing.
again. Yeah, I don't think she would do it again.
Maybe it was
They
just
agreed
that
and
one
it's
time.
implied.
I
That
did not like the
one
fact that
time.
the movie was
don't-
so ambiguous. Bacon.
What?
I just the one time. One more chance, one more time.
Yeah.
Yeah, 5
one
centimeters per
more
second side.
time.
Oh, I was
no,
going
no.
for the 5 centimeters per second.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I was gonna say one last ride, one last ride, and then sunshine everywhere again. Look, all I can say is that there's just too much with this movie that it just makes it feel like it's trying to be like Your Name, but not.
I don't understand why after Your Name was so well received and did so well, what he would take away from that is, oh, I gotta fix everything up. Like, oh man.
Well,
that
it
was
might
so
be he didn't really know where else to go from Your Name. If Your Name is like the quintessential Makoto Shinkai film, like if we could say that's like him at his peak, like all of the things working, all the elements working their best, being executed at their best. If that's like him at his peak, it's kind of like where do you go from there? And that's why I think he tried to do something more ambitious by tackling something like climate change with his usual flavors of like the bittersweet romance between teenagers trying to find themselves, you know. I think he was trying to take that and then trying to elevate it, but he didn't really know how to elevate it while tying all of the elements together, which is why you have something like it feels like Your Name, but then it has these other elements that don't really feel as well thought out.
Yeah, like I don't know if we're necessarily trying to wrap up the podcast, but a sort of takeaway here is like where Shinkai can, like, what to expect from Shinkai going forward. I don't think he's going to be able to top Your Name as long as he. I feel like Your Name was this really nice sweet spot where he told an emotional story that was short but engaging, had lots of different like spiritual themes going on, looked very beautiful. I feel like the only way he can really improve is if he just does something totally different.
Yeah, and it would actually be kind of cool to see Makoto Shinkai do something completely different.
Like disasters. That's what we know. Then again,
no more rain.
Well, last two films, one had a
disaster of a movie or a disaster in the movie.
He should make The Day After Tomorrow animated. That's what he.
Please make that happen.
That was basically Weathering with You when everything turned to like ice and snow. I was like, oh, this is Day After Tomorrow.
Yeah, that like escalated quite quickly.
My favorite part of the whole movie was actually like the storm montage with all the news reports. That was like that.
Well, it was horrifying, and you're like, oh, dude,
yeah, it just had this intensity. I'm just like, ooh, yeah, I'm into this now.
Yeah.
And then I will say I really liked the beginning, like the scene of him at McDonald's, and when Hina comes by and like gives him the Big Mac because it's sponsored by
almost
McDonald's.
said Whopper, huh?
McDonald's.
I did not bacon.
Help your homie out and give him a Big Mac when he's feeling down.
And she's like, "You've been eating that same dinner 3 nights in a row." I was like,
"Oh,
I felt
what of it, man?"
They really did capture how much he struggled in like the beginning,
and I really liked that. And I felt like Shinkai, like he really shines when he goes like. Instead of going really ambitious, I feel like he really shines when he goes really like introspective, like really small. And I felt like because of that, like it was very unwieldy where he did here. I still think, even after everything I've said though, I think people should go see this movie. I'm not just saying that because GKIDS is amazing and they're sponsoring this episode. Even if GKIDS wasn't sponsoring this episode, I'd still tell people to go see this because it's like one of those things where you can't talk about anime like in the current discussion without talking about Shinkai, and you can't talk about it without Weathering with You. Like Weathering with You is going to pervade through the discourse, no matter what we talk about, and like just how beautiful it looked, how gorgeous it looked, the acting in it, and just like there are certain anime that just set trends for other anime to come, just because of how big and commercial they become. And I think one of the things we might see from this is like I know I talk about it. But I think like bigger sponsorships and more pervasive releases might become a bigger thing because like, we joke about it, but it was always like McDonald's and like pineapple like books, right? But now we had like MacBooks and like actual McDonald's. I'm pretty sure I saw a Starbucks coffee cup.
Yeah.
Like it was just like, it really seemed like if Your Name was the first step into integrating anime into the mainstream, like this is like the second step into that, where like it's more taken for granted that like you're going to get like common product placements into that. So even from a business standpoint, even if you're like, man, I hated Your Name, I hate Shinkai, I hate Slice of Life, I hate supernatural stuff, I only like Fairy Tail and Seven Deadly Sins, I would still recommend you go see this film.
It feels like you hate people hate a lot of things, and that was a lot of things to hate. I know they exist, but that was a lot to like overlappingly hate. I feel that.
Jesus.
I agree, and I mean, I'm like definitely probably the most positive about this film, and I think we can all agree that it's definitely worth checking out, so we can all have more discussions on it. But I really did connect with the main two characters' relationship. I feel like they really developed it. They really tried to flesh it out, and I felt a real connection to it. So I think they did a great job with that, and I think it was really fun to watch. And I think it's worth everyone checking out because there's something for everyone.
Oh my god.
We got to work it back. But yeah, I think it's a really fun experience. Like
8.5 out of 10. Yeah.
Ooh.
It's like
No, they gave it a 7.8 because it had too much water.
It's too much water. And
too much
Radwimps.
I'm sure it's like rated really highly.
It is, but I think it'll go down.
Well, me and Fate also really liked the we were talking about like the falling scene. We feel like that may or may not be Shinkai's like best looking scene. Are we still on that, or did you change your mind?
Oh man,
I would have to go back into Garden of Words and Your Name to really decide.
And
I
wouldn't
think it
mind,
beats
like,
Your Name
marathoning
because I
all.
think Your Name was consistently good looking and it had a really good. Like I think the scene where they showed like the spiritual vision, I think that was
Yeah,
really great looking.
That
but
was
I
like
don't know
really
if the name.
art housey.
Yeah, that was really like unconventional and cool looking.
I
But I
really
think
like
this
the
one
meteor
seemed-
falling scene, the opening scene of Your Name.
Mhm.
I really like that one. The falling scene. Oh man, I really
It's up there.
Well, in terms of just like pure climaxes,
Garden
like-
of Words. Actually, the last scene, the running in the rain through the stairs.
Yeah.
Because like if
I
you
like
just
that, but it didn't wow me as much. I thought it was great, but you know.
whelm. Whelm you.
I mean,
was
it's something that
whelmed.
we could do.
Okay, Robin.
Stop.
No, but like because not only like I thought it was like really dramatic. I thought the rain like throughout the entire character acting of all that was really great. There's one part where the woman, she's running through the stairs and she like slams into like the wall because she like slips because it's raining, and I was like, they really got the impact of that well. And then like afterwards there's like this huge like pan out throughout the entire city as the entire city is raining. Songs playing, I was like, that is like peak showing off. But in terms of like one scene,
Well, we were talking about that. You were talking about that being like one of the best looking. I think you were talking about something else being your favorite of every Shinkai film, but I forget what it was.
did we talk about this? Because I don't, because I have a terrible memory.
I
I've
think
not
you
in this
mentioned it might have
conversation
been
already.
that scene or maybe like the song. One of the best
Oh yeah,
songs.
the song. Granted, I really like the what is it? It's it is love enough to change the world. Oh, it's like Rad Wimps is love.
Amazing, I
Is
know.
there anything love can? Is there still anything love can do? I really liked. Is there still anything love can do? As a song, and I also really liked Grand Escape. I think Great Escape and Is There Still?
Oh, I liked
Anything
Great
Love
Escape a lot.
That love
I gotta
can
listen-
do are
I
like
gotta listen to both
the
of those
two
again.
best Shinkai songs.
Yeah, yeah, I really like
Okay.
the use the song usage. I like those a lot. I want to go back and listen to them, but yeah, I think
They're on Spotify and YouTube. So
Ooh.
check them out.
Yeah,
Ooh.
they are.
Yeah, so I think it's a fun movie. I think it's fun and people will enjoy it. I don't think people will like it as much as Your Name, as evident by our podcast.
Right.
But and I don't think it will
probably
hold the same
say-
candle to the legacy, but it is still a fun watch and very, very much worth.
Yeah,
watching.
I think we can all wholeheartedly recommend going, which you can do on
which-
January
What-
15th. Oh,
I want to say because like I feel like I should justify it because I'm, you know, the most negative here who overall kind of, I mean, I actually wouldn't say I dislike the movie even though I just gave it like a low score, but I would say that like for all the complaints that I had about it, I did have a lot of fun watching it, and I genuinely would. It's like it was. I had fun with it in the first half, and then towards the second, around the second half or last third or whatever, it's like it got frustratingly dumb, and then I'm just like, okay, this isn't gonna get any better, so I'm just going to love it and embrace it, and then I had a lot more fun with it.
All in commit.
Yep.
I think for me, yeah, it's as much as people are really going to compare it to Your Name because that's such a huge move to follow up. My only thing is I know deep in my mind I really believe that Shinkai can make something better than Your Name. It's just going to take either an ambitious approach in a different direction, or he needs to at least like wrap things up a little better with his future movies, because this one was a bit convoluted in my opinion, and I still stand by my first theory, and I stand by it should have been that whole mobster thing, because I just pictured that dude with the afro or that dude with the pompadour or whatever just like putting his hands like Gendo Ikari about like, oh, the Sunshine Girl makes so much money. But it was ambitious. I liked it a lot. I think he could do better, but at this point it's kind of like he's on a pretty huge momentum run with these two big movies now. It's just now we're going to be hoping that his third one, which is probably in 4 years, is going to be better than both of these. I don't know. I really think he should take the direction of doing a disaster at the end of a movie or something really sad. You know, go back to your 5 centimeters per second roots, man. Like, make something that us adults could relate to. Because this one was all about kids.
I like this was
oh
very
my
much
god!
like
I felt
teenager
so
kid story.
betrayed. I felt so betrayed by this.
Oh
movie.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because
Yo,
every time he's had the girl be older, right? Even in Voices from a Distant Star, the girl ends up being like thousands of years older than the guy.
Now we know what phase into.
But then this time he was like, "Oh, like she's older." I was like, aha, she's older than him. Typical Shinkai. And then it turns out she was lying about her age. It was like, no, Shinkai, you
So this was a
fooled me.
movie. This is a movie about two teenagers just trying to successfully run away from home. I can't relate to this. Your name was so relatable because they're jobs and they couldn't get jobs and they're trying to find that one spot for their life.
No, Bacon.
No.
But like that's how I was able to relate to it.
Uh-huh.
Let's say you are working a job and like you just don't have that spark in your life
Yeah.
that's like missing, you know, and then that's why your name kind of hit home. But this
When
one was
were they
just
looking for jobs at the end?
at
Yeah,
the end.
it-
Well, Taki was.
I will say though, even though I can't relate to being 15, 16, and 17, you know what you can do at 15, 16, and 17? That's right. You can watch Withering with You on the 15th and 16th of January with fan preview screening subbed and dubbed, and it's in theaters on a wider release starting January 17th. All you have to do is go to the weatheringwithyoumovie.com and you'll be able to see whether or not what theaters near you will screen.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Whether or not there's going to be a screening near you.
I've had so much fun with this movie, and honestly, I have seen a lot. Like I've seen a lot worse films in between seeing this and now doing the podcast.
Yes, you
I
have.
didn't-
Can confirm.
I haven't even like there were some films where that they were so bad I needed to watch like other anime OPs in the midst of watching that anime film.
Jesus.
But with Withering with You, I just watched it straight through. It was really great. I really liked it. Highly recommend. Go check it out. Thank you again to GKIDS for sponsoring this episode. Guys, give them a follow, give them a shout out. They've been doing such an amazing job of bringing awesome anime films over. And if it wasn't for people like them, like companies like them bringing anime films over, we wouldn't be able to have these discussions. We wouldn't be part of the discourse that they're having in Japan because we would be relying on like, I don't know, like fan subs or like DVD subs 2 years later,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
wouldn't work out really well. So thank you again, GKIDS, for bringing movies like Promare and Weathering with You to the United States and North America. And make sure to follow us on Spotify, on YouTube, on Apple Podcasts, on what else are we on? We're on Google. We're pretty much anywhere you listen to podcasts.
I guess
you can
we're on
find us.
YouTube. I don't
The
know.
Our Anime Podcast. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at Tokyo Podfathers. We're coming up on a couple of big milestones, and we have a couple of giveaways going on right now too. So if you want your chance to win a couple of things, make sure to check that out. You can also check us out on the Discord where we discuss stuff. If you want to talk to us more about Weathering with You, whether you thought it was a lot better or worse than what we thought even, we're more than happy to discuss it there. So check us out there. Thank you guys so much. I've been Fate Steel Taylor. This has been Shocking 807, Mozilla Fennekin, and a singular ton of bacon, exactly 2,000 pounds on the dot of bacon. Thank you guys so much. Have a good night.